You must know I cannot escape.
Why?
None of your business. Because Sophia Falcone is holding someone important to me captive, and if I escape, she will kill him.
Wow.
That's why you came. You're still there. And you're gonna help me find a way out of here.
In the dark of the night, I was tossing and turning. And the nightmare I had was as bad as can be. It scared me out of my wits. My empire crumbled to bits. Then I opened my eyes and the nightmare was me. I was once the most feared gangster in all of Gotham. When Zach betrayed me, he made a mistake. My wrath made each of them pay. But one little girl got away. Little Sophia, beware, I walk away.
In the dark of the night, evil will find her. In the dark of the night, just before dawn.
Revenge will be sweet when the curse is complete.
In the dark of the night,
She'll be gone.
Hello, and you are listening to the Gotham Chronicle podcast, powered by the BatmanUniverse.net. Check out the Batman Universe for this and many other Batman podcasts. I'm Josh, and joining me is...
This is Donovan.
This is Jan.
And this week, we're just going to talk about how awesome Ivy is. Isn't she just great? Isn't she awesome?
She's the coolest.
Yeah.
She's a psycho.
What?
Well... We're now replacing Jan on the podcast. Stella will be returning to us since Jan is obviously not right in the head calling Ivy a psycho.
Not bloody likely.
Yeah, Jan, Don and I were talking, and we don't like the way you were talking about Ivy before. Just,
What? What? Did I say psycho? I mean, like, psychotically hot.
That does sound like something you would say. You're a better liar than Gordon and Selena. Like...
So say right now, that was the best scene of the episode.
Cue epic side-eye.
Yeah. This week's episode is called Beautiful Darkness, and as much as I enjoyed last week's episode, as a podcast, it was long because there was like 7 million characters and 9 different plot lines. This week, we really kind of only have 2 plot lines. It's, Poison Ivy is, going around showing people how awesome she is, and making Bruce Wayne hallucinate, making Alvarez, have some screen time in a comical, 9th grade way. And
he's so adorable. I want to squish his face.
As she steals Lazarus water, and making Bruce Wayne see Gordon with a mustache, Bullock with a chicken, and Lee Tompkins is like, well, obviously I'm a doctor. It's like, but you're Cleopatra, Queen of the Nile. Also, and Bruce Wayne teams up with Bible Man.
You just threw that out there with no context.
You don't need context. He looks like Bible Man.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the ears yet.
Yeah. To which at the end, Bruce calls Alfred. He's like, Alfred, I need you. New phone, who dis? Click. And the other plot line is Oswald is in Arkham, and Jerome is basically
Roger clotsing it up for him.
Yeah, it's basically like a high school, where the high school bullies look at the dweeb and bullying him and stuff like that. Except they're in an insane asylum, and people actually are getting killed because of the pranks.
Oswald's been there before.
He has, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, that was when Hugo Strange was in charge, and they were doing ice cream science experiments. As Peabody's are you sure it's a good idea to make this man stay underwater for 3 hours without any air? Peabody, trust me, I know what I'm doing. You obviously don't. I think we all know that, but let's just see what happens. Yeah, so
I miss that so much.
Yeah,
he was the what is it called? Crocodile Hunter of Gotham.
Crikey.
Yes, but Oswald does get a visit from what the internet has dubbed his murder husband, Nigma, who
that's from Hannibal.
Oh, okay. I've heard that term on the internet before, but like Jan will know more about the fandom, like history of it than me. And Oswald realizes that the Riddler's in there. So, what did you all think of this episode? This, I guess we'll start with Jan. She's seen it more recently.
I don't know what I just watched. You had the one trip down to the 1960s Batman to the Great Gatsby to the Bible Man Batcave. And then on the other hand, there was a mime scene. I'm done. That's good. That's fine. You guys go. That's where my brain broke. I just saw the whole mime scene, and that's when you just saw me. Like, I typed in the chat. I was like, "What am I watching?"
Oh, we didn't even mention the whole Sophia plot line too, but like,
yeah,
that was almost nothing.
Well,
I was just going to say, the other thing that I said was like screaming was when the camera pans out and, oh, I've been meaning to catch up with you, my sister-in-law. I was like, wow, way to telegraph that.
Again, they must have been listening to Josh.
Yeah.
Well, in fairness, it's not like I'm the only one that realized that they were like related. Like that isn't really like it's pretty easy to figure out. It's not a secret, but I know when I said it at the press table, Drew Powell like says, "Oh yeah, that was your sister-in-law, wasn't it?" And then like Marina Bacarian like says, "Yeah," for 5 minutes. Like her exact quote was, "Homeboy went and killed her husband." That's in the
So
homeless boy went and killed. I think
she said homeboy, but she was close, so close. I'm like, can you repeat that, Marina, and then use the word blessed instead of boy? Like,
yeah, Gordon came in, with his backwards cap and his bandana around his shoulder, like, "Yo, Mario,
bandana around his shoulder.
Get off my chick, yo."
Yeah. Which plotline should we discuss for? Actually, let's talk about the whole like Bruce dream thing, because that was when Bullock comes out holding a chicken for like no reason, like, "Master Bruce, do you need me?" Like, I love how the chicken's there, but like it's just not addressed or explained, because that's how dreams are.
Yeah, and I was like, why does he have a British accent though?
Why is it Bullock in the first
Bullock
place?
Of all people.
Yeah.
Well, Donald Logue needs to have a scene this week, because like,
True.
he's still at his bar saying, "I'm not rejoining the JCPD." So.
Well, I'm trying to think, like, how many times, how many scenes have Bullock and Bruce shared exactly anyway? I'm not saying they don't know each other, but like, it makes you question his familiarity with all the characters. But not too deeply discussed.
He's like, I think Bullock's a British guy who would hold a chicken. Like, I don't know.
He was in the first scene when his parents died in the alley. Like, he wasn't like right next to him, but he was like when what is his name? Gordon went to talk to him in his little really short haircut. He has so much better hair now. He was there like, "No, you talked to him. Why would you do that?" He was in that scene. So that he was at least in the same alley. And then, of course, he's been over to the police station enough times to see him.
So that screams Butler.
Yes.
I thought that, honestly, a lot of it was kind of just a rambled bunch of nonsense.
Yes.
It was Ra's al Ghul. It was like, "Ra's al Ghul, what are you doing here?" "I'm not Ra's al Ghul. Not quite. I'm going to cut your face off." "No!" And then, like, you get to, like...
that was hilarious. Like, give me back my face with the big hole in his head. Like,
and then you get to the Golden Age comics where Gordon genuinely looks like Bob Kane Gordon with, like, that kind of pinstripe mustache. And, like, you have Barbara looking like a flapper girl, or not so much a flapper girl, but, like, of that era. You have... Leigh just as like Queen Nefertiti, and
why? I don't know.
You mean Cleopatra?
A queen of some kind.
Cleopatra.
No, she had like the Cleopatra hair. I
thought about that song too, Josh.
Wow, you guys, and so young, so innocent.
We're not. She's not innocent.
Aren't you younger than we are? Or no?
No, I'm older than both of you.
Okay.
But like, I will say this: that weeks ago when I saw the promo, and you see this sort of like caped silhouettes, and we mentioned that that it looked like Bible Man, but I didn't think, because I watched this episode, then I went to work, so I actually had a few hours to kind of sort of rest on my thoughts. That I don't. Technically, there's no real reason why Bruce. There wasn't really a message that Bruce had. It was like he saw, himself. His face was gone. He saw how he was become, and then he sees like a character that he has no knowledge of. There's no reason why he's seeing Batman or anything like that. And then all of a sudden, he's like, normal Bruce.
Yes, there is
serious Bruce Wayne again. I was actually waiting for you to, because you have a tendency to explain the unexplainable. So I was hoping that you could elucidate this.
Elucidate? I don't know what that word means.
I mean, I figured it was just like, stop being party boy Bruce Wayne. Like, this is who you are. This is your destiny. And then like, it was just weird because dreams are weird.
But stop for a second though, because like, and this is a situation that no one's going to agree with me on. It's like every episode, but like, this is your destiny. What is his destiny? To be like a monster, like running around, like jumping off a rooftop? Like, there was no real context for it. And why would he think that?
That's what the whole Court of Owls dream sequence pointed him at, remember? With the memory needles?
No.
Oh gosh, the poor Bruce. They just kept on giving those things to him. He's like, please, no more.
I think that like...
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, he had a vision of what he wanted to be, and then it was ruined when he decided to kill Ra's al Ghul. Then he had a spiral, and then everyone's like, but no, you can still be this good thing. You could be this force for good. He's like, no, I'm just gonna I killed him. He's the one who's the reason my parents died. I got no satisfaction out of this. I still feel empty and hollow and broken. So, thing.
That's why he was fighting with himself at the party, because that was like party boy Bruce he was fighting.
I know that. I think when it got to like the cape silhouette, it if you know Batman, then like you don't even need you can fill in the blanks. But looking at on paper what was going on in that scene, it was basically he was like what are you? I'm you, Bruce. I'm not afraid. You should be rah, and then like that's it. And like they're bats for some reason. He's not falling down no well that I don't know of. It was a little bit like it was on the artist kind of figure out his headspace, and it gets you there. But I do think that like it was kind of like when you look at it like on paper. I think it was a little bit of a shortcut, but that's my thoughts. That's only.
It's not really that bad though, because it was more like a dream quest to me. Like when someone is on a really bad trip to find themselves spiritually. I don't think Ivy meant to do that, but I think that's what happened because he's like where he is, and he wants to like crawl out of it, but he doesn't know how. So I guess that was his answer. That's what I felt like.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the episode twice, and the first time I watched it, I was a little confused because, like, there's two Bruces. There's, like, Party Boy, like, I think you've had a bit too much, man, Bruce. And then, like, Bruce with no face saying, who are you? You took my face. And when, like, Bruce with no face dies, like, the narrative shifts that, like, we're following, like, Bratty Boy Bruce. And that confused me at first, but I was like, oh, okay, that's supposed to be, like, representative that, like, I guess Party Boy Bruce, like, took his face or whatever, because I was like, wait, like, are we following fake Bruce in the dream now? Like, what happened? The real Bruce? I took it a little too literally at first. And
yeah, technically everybody in the dream is Bruce.
Including Alfred in, like, SWAT gear, which I saw something a few months ago of Alfred in, like, that outfit. That's why I thought he was joining the GCPD when I did the episode last week, because I vaguely remembered seeing that.
He joins the cops and is automatically put on SWAT.
I don't know, Don.
Look, Lucius went from medical examiner to like everything else in the GCPD
like
in the span of 2 weeks. So I actually do believe that he would join the GCPD and suddenly become a SWAT member.
Did you notice that like when Bruce was like basically having the Hush mask on his face, he was in his like like proto Batman costume?
Oh no,
no, I didn't.
Yeah, it was kind of dark and hazy, but if you see, he is wearing that kind of like legit wearing that suit. We gotta talk about the mustache line.
Well, and I'm just mentioning it because like if we don't, people are gonna think that we missed it or like try and point out this in the comments. Like, yes, in the comics, Tommy Elliott like did like reconstruct his face to look like Bruce's. I don't think that that's what this was in reference to. It might have been an Easter egg to that storyline, but I think it was just like a coincidence.
I think it's a coincidence too.
Yeah, the whole "you stole my face" thing. Yeah, the whole like Bruce. Like, out of everything in the dream, he's not like in the dream, you were with your psychopath ex-girlfriend who's a murderer, or like in the dream, like Bullock had a chicken, or in the dream, like there was like he of all the things he mentions, he's like, and you had. If I had a dream like that, I wouldn't be like Dawn. In the dream, you had a mustache. You're like, don't I have one now? Like,
no, I don't have a mustache.
Yeah, but think about it though. When you have a dream, no matter how intense, you don't always remember everything that happens in the dream.
That is true. But
all right,
like,
this is the real crux of like the issue though. Like
he said that to Gordon,
the episode.
Like,
yeah, maybe he looked at Gordon and then he remembered that he had a mustache. Like from that, like it just pulled it out. Memories are weird.
like the episode, but the episode. I'm not saying that he should like reference it, but like the episode stops itself dead. It's not as though he was saying, like, yeah, it was crazy. Bullock had a chicken and you had a mustache and Lee was all dressed up. It wasn't like that. It was like, Gordon, before you go, I need you to know that in my dream you had a mustache. A mustache, huh? And it was like, this was like campy shit.
I liked that though. It was like, you had a mustache, and he's like,
but he said it with the weight as if like in the dream you had a utility belt or like you had a bat sim. Like
it's like the most important thing we should know about Gordon is his facial hair.
He's like,
he had this crazy trip, so he's like, he just wanted to share the experience.
I appreciate the cute nod to like continuity, but I think that like it was very we've mentioned this, I know we mentioned it before in the podcast, but it's very much like Smallville when Chloe Sullivan tries to reference Wonder Woman and Batman, but does it in the most ham-fisted way.
God.
It was funny, but like the way they did it was like kind of beyond the pale of suspension of disbelief because it was so strangely important, and the fans is going to understand what that means, but like I found it fun. I'm not mad. I just found it humorous that like Bruce like, I must warn you about your mustache. Just like, okay.
Your mustache is growing. No.
Oh, and also you were married to like your ex-fiance who's like a murderer.
Maybe that's foreshadowing.
Oh my gosh, which one? Lee or Barbara or I was never engaged to Sophia. You hooked up with Sophia? Hey, we're not talking
Was it
about
Valerie
or Silver St. Cloud from the DC Girls cartoon.
Oh yeah, she wasn't a murderer.
Oh my god,
in
you
the
can't
comic.
say Silver St. Cloud.
That requires explanation.
Be like, she's my age.
Ooh. Wait, there was a tie-in comic where like for DC superhero girls where Gordon dates Silver St. Cloud. So.
She's like a reality television star, but maybe this was if this is foreshadowing because so Bruce becomes Bible Man. Maybe when Gordon and Lee when Gordon and Barbara get back together, he'll have the mustache by then.
Ooh.
I do love how Robin Lord Taylor looked like the Penguin.
Yes. The top hat, that was cool.
You know who was? Wait, the Riddler wasn't in that dream, was he?
I don't remember.
I remember Selena.
I don't remember
Penguin,
seeing him.
Bullock.
So Selena looked like a Tim Burton character,
as opposed to now when she looks like Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, but like
Michelle
even
Pfeiffer
more, just
at
like
the end of the film.
I'm fast forwarding through the video file for this episode to try and see if Nigma's in the dream sequence, and
I mean, if he is, I don't remember him.
I don't remember him being in the dream sequence.
Okay, so
Selena, Bullock, Gordon, Lee, Barbara, Alfred, himself, obviously, Raish.
Himself like 3 times. Yes.
I'm looking at the party scene right now because Raish had like some
Cypher.
weird lab assistants. I don't remember who the lab assistant was though. Okay, so
Harley Quinn.
Thank you, Reddit. Okay, so I'm looking at the party. Selena's like very Tim Burton-y. Like she looks like what's that girl that's in all the Tim Burton movies? She played
Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah, she looks like her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at Gordon and Barbara.
They look just like the Golden Age versions, though. Like they really do.
Barbara.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to mention. Like Babs looks like just like she does in that issue that you showed her at the
Tribeca.
The thing that you went to Tribeca.
Barbara, will you marry me and become a 1920s flapper girl? I thought you never asked. I'm looking at Penguin in his top hats. For some reason, he's hanging out with Lee.
I love when he says, I'm Bruce Wayne, and like Gordon and like Gordon and Babs like both laugh, and like the kids like, ho ho, like the faces they make are really funny.
Yeah, like, they're laughing like they're at a Frasier like Crane like dinner party. Like
it's like a fake, it's like an intentionally fake laughter. Like, oh, how amusing! Like, what a messed up dream.
Oh yeah. I'm looking. He is in the Lucius Fox Batman outfit, which I do love how Lucius like calls Bruce. He's like, I know we haven't spoken in a while this season.
Yeah, Lucius doesn't know that Bruce is evil, so he's like, Bruce.
I'm sure he's heard from Alfred and stuff. So
yeah, you think Alfred was like, Lucius, I'm kind of homeless. Can you kind of stay at your place?
I don't have a place. Nobody in Gotham has a place.
I don't know how my wife and 2 children. Oh yeah.
Homeless.
On the streets. That's gonna be the last scene of the pod or of the series. Everyone's homeless. Batman saved the day, but destroyed like the real estate business.
Yeah, so but he calls Alfred at the end, so I guess we're done with the bratty Bruce thing, and now they'll be able to heal.
Yeah, that went on a little too long for me, so I'm glad that hopefully we're done with that.
Alfred's only been fired for like one episode.
I don't feel like it was that long. I mean, he's grieving. Oh yeah, he should have gotten over that forever ago. I mean, his parents are only dead, and he killed the person, and then like didn't actually get any like feelings from that were good.
Yes.
It's funny because I was just re-listening to the San Diego Comic-Con episode that Don and I did about those interviews, and in it, like, when Ben and I were interviewing Sean Pertwee, he says that Alfred and Bruce are going to get along this season. We're not going to do any more of them butting heads, and I'm like, this season was, like, the worst for them emotionally than, like, ever. Like, this was the lowest, like, their relationship was even lower than it was before.
Did they argue in season 4? Or, I'm sorry, 3? Well, yeah, because he killed him. I heard about
that. Okay, man, would you say that this is worse than him killing him? Probably, because like at least then Bruce wasn't in his right mind, you know. But jeez.
All I remember is my dad walking away from that scene, like, if he kills him, the show officially sucks. And Dobby was like, he's like, that's it, I'm out of here.
Your dad is a good man.
Someday he may be a great one.
Yeah. Anything else on that Bruce trippy dream sequence and his, I guess, redemption and Gordon's mustache?
No, that's pretty much it.
He was funny.
I did really like the whole like the thing where he got his face taken off by Raish. I mean, it was nice to see Alexander Siddig again.
I mean, it's all but confirmed that he's coming back because in the promo for like the rest of the season, there was that scene where like he's walking into a club and Barbara's like looking at him like what, and then
my baby daddy.
Yeah, and then
magic baby daddy.
The cast posted a picture of all of them like at the table read for the last episode that they're doing this season because production wraps in 2 weeks. And like Alexander's there, and then like someone commented on social media like, "Wait, Alexander's there," and I'm thinking, "Wait, you really thought he was dead forever?" Like,
I mean, like of all the characters to like come back to life from the dead, like he's literally the last character in Batman lore to like be surprising. My God, he's back. Like,
let's be real.
It is interesting because his body like crumbled to like nothingness. So like I don't know. It's not like Hugo Strange can like put him in like magic goo, so I have no clue how they're going to get out of that aside from the Barbara things.
Even if he comes back, Bruce still tried to kill him, like made the decision to kill him. It's not going to absolve anything.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
Just like in the culling with Tim in the New 52, where he killed somebody in a dream sequence, he made the conscious decision to murder that person, to take that life. And then they're like, yeah, let's pretend that didn't happen. I'm sitting here like, nope, I'm canceling this subscription.
That's why Silent Lobdell's Teen Titans sucked, in addition to everything.
And that's why I stopped paying attention to Tim. I haven't read his run, like his original run, but after the New 52 came out, I tried to like get in there because I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And they totally jacked up the Teen Titans.
Nightwing basically like let somebody, like Nightwing didn't kill someone, but he basically had a villain who knew his secret identity, Blockbuster, and this person was basically
I heard this story,
doing everything. Yeah, and he
Yeah, I've heard it several times.
And yeah, he was going to be shot, and he's like, "Oh, Nightwing won't let you shoot me, you know, even though I'm gonna like, if I live, I'll destroy his life." And Nightwing just lets him get shot, and he feels so guilty about that afterwards, and nothing else happens at the end of that.
I was about to say, you better shut your mouth before you continue.
Yeah. Nothing else bad happens at the end of that comic at all. Nothing at all.
Oh, I know what happens. We're fine. No, I've heard this story several times.
That did lead to one of the best interviews that Donovan and I ever did with the writer. So
Gotham.
Yeah.
What's the next thing we're going to talk about?
Well, how awesome Ivy is, because like right now I'm paused on a screenshot of Alvarez's like 9th grade like notebook. Together forever, Ivy plus Alvarez, true love, like hearts everywhere.
I was standing at my job checking a customer out like hours after I watched the episode when it hit me. Wait a minute, he wrote his last name. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, what kind of like one named Dragon Ball Z character? Like Mrs. Alvarez Ivy, didn't he write that as well?
Yeah. I'm gonna ask JW Cortez on Twitter after the episode airs because like, you know, spoilers. But like, I am gonna ask him like, did you write that yourself or like, did a prop guy do it? Like,
doesn't Alvarez have a first name? What is his first name?
Hold on.
Like Dante Alvarez or something?
He is Carlos Alvarez.
Like it still it is awesome that it was funny enough that he did that whole, you know, kind of like, you know, dork diary doodle thing, but like yeah Alvarez and Ivy sitting in a tree is like that. And I like how the music was all moody and stuff. It's like dun dun dun. It was like a dark reveal.
There's a lot of hearts, and like some of the hearts have like shading on it. Like he worked really hard on this. Like bravo, Alvarez.
Sending you some information on Alvarez.
I'm going back to like JW Cortez interview, like, you know, from DC, and DC was like, you'll be seeing a good role for Alvarez. Like, this is what he meant. 9th grade dude, but it wasn't good to see him again, you know, like we always.
He's had 30 Harper, appearances in the comics. Good lord.
He wasn't Catwoman.
Yeah, but I thought he was only in Catwoman for like the Judd Winnick run. I don't know he appeared after that.
Yep.
Well, I'll be damned.
And I love Harper.
That's why they were saying like, if the comics are any indication, he'll be around for a while because he's still around. He's not dead. He's still active.
Well, in fairness, Essen died before her time, and so did Maroni. So like, the
are they still in the comics?
No, Essen
died in No Man's Land at the end of No Man's Land, and Maroni died in.
Yeah, but they're actually dead in canon. Period. Alvarez is still ongoing.
Well, they're dead in canon, but like they died before their characters did stuff that was important for them to be in the show in the first place. Like
Maroni's supposed to make Two-Face, and Essen is supposed to make Gordon a happy man.
That would have been weird, considering she was like way older than him.
Hey, now there's nothing wrong with like May, December, unless it's illegal. In that case, it is wrong.
Yes, because Gordon's relationships on the show have been totally appropriate. You know, like him dating an older woman, that would have been the bridge too far.
No, I mean like in the way where most of his partners are around the same age or younger.
Yeah, I know. I was joking, but yeah, Ivy, Ivy and Alvarez, Ivy and all those.
Ivy and Harper sitting in a tree.
Yeah,
Ivy and everybody. I thought it was like really okay. So
Ivy
this is
Lucius.
where it's like really weird for me because on the one hand, everyone going like, "She's so cool, she's so awesome, I like her." You're so pretty is like really nice and juvenile, which is great because she's actually like a 12-year-old.
I'm glad you caught on to that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then on the other hand, it's just like really weird because it felt like, because you're just used to like them being like, I'm in love with you. I want to be with you. You know, that sort of Ivy. So seeing it like toned down to like the second grade level was really awkward for me, but I actually appreciated that.
I liked it too. It was more like a cartoon, like Pepe Le Pew, like love, as opposed to like a sexual love. Because as you two brought up last week, like she's still I don't want to say 12. Like she's like 16
Like
or 17.
YouTube? Wait,
but
did you say
it's still
YouTube or
inappropriate.
U2?
What do you mean?
The band, of course, the Irish band.
Oh, okay. I thought you said YouTube. I was like, YouTube. We talk about this every week. I was like so confused.
Oh,
Will this episode be on YouTube?
oh no! I mean, but last week you two, like, especially like the two of you.
Yeah, the two of us. Yeah, we had a 45-minute discussion about this character.
Yeah. You specifically brought up that like you don't like her doing the sexual stuff because she's a child, and even though like, yeah, the original Ivy is probably like 16 right now.
Yeah,
it's still not 18. It's still inappropriate. So
it's still gross.
It wasn't like I want to jump your bones. It was like I'll do anything for you. It was more like a hypnotism. Like I love you, but not like.
I don't think anybody said that they were in love with her.
Yeah, they did.
Alvarez put Mrs. Ivy Alvarez.
Okay, well there was
like,
that. Yeah.
And right
I think his
before
intentions
she
are
left
clear.
Lucius, he said, "I love you" while she was walking away.
I love that Lucius thing. He's like, I'm a black belt. What? Since when? That's not in your backstory.
Oh no! This episode was such a comedy.
Night classes. He just ends it with like this dreamy smile.
Night class this. on the call.
Yeah, oh god! If he shot Lucius and did like I would have thrown my computer out the way.
Well, I mean, there's an alternative version where he could have shot Lucius because when Ivy's like, "Don't you remember? You killed my father." Who? My father. Pepper. Who? Mario. What? Mario? Where? I should have known he was
that would have
behind
been that was a close one for.
he would have accidentally
job.
He would have accidentally.
That has to be the first time they mentioned
Lucius.
that, though, right?
In a while, because like
Since episode 1?
Since like the second season, I think, or the first season.
I don't even mention that ever. When was the last time?
Mario Pepper's been like almost forgotten, especially since like I remember. I was like, wait, so do people still think that Ivy's dad like killed the Waynes because like Gordon and everyone knew, but we were trying to figure out if it was a secret because like Gallivan knew.
Yeah. Oh Christ. Well, I mean, if I recall correctly, and I probably don't, wasn't her father like? I remember like the way that like Ivy and her mom were looking at her father. It was like he's kind of abusive, so like there wasn't a lot of love lost.
Yeah, he was.
And I was like, you killed my father.
They're probably upset that like her dad was murdered. You know, like
by the police.
Yeah, but think about it though. Her dad was murdered, and then what happened to her mother?
I had to look that up. Like apparently, because I forgot this, but apparently when we see her in Lovecraft, when Ivy and when Selena and Bruce are on the run, she references that her mom killed herself.
Oh my god!
So
Yeah.
Gordon did totally ruin her life because I don't think her mom was abusive.
Yeah,
homeless
She
cop.
ruined her life. My bad.
That's good. That's awful.
Yeah, because I was thinking like, doesn't Ivy have a mom somewhere that's like probably wondering what happened to her? But then like, no, her mom's dead. Because that's why she and Selena were like squatting. And I watched that scene on YouTube again recently. Like her and Selena like squatting in Barbara King's apartment. I'm like, gosh, everyone's so little.
We
Everyone's
mention
a
this like
baby.
every episode on the podcast.
It's like watching Harry Potter #1.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah, and I think it's
Oh,
the
God,
second
girl's so
one.
bitty.
And Rupert Grint, his voice is like drops 12 decibels in Chamber of Secrets.
All I remember is like looking at Rupert Grint because when I saw him, he had already hit puberty, and then I'm watching like Cherry Bomb, like sup, and then I went back and watched like that first film, and I was like, oh my god,
I'm a monster.
I watched this show called Weeds, and like the little kid from Finding Nemo, he's like the real life actor. He's the main character's youngest son at the beginning of the show, but like she gets another kid as the show goes on, and like there's a cliffhanger where like the town's on fire, so everyone leaves, and like the kid still hasn't started puberty, and they're like, okay, let's get out of here. And then like the season premiere is like takes place that same afternoon. They're like at a rest stop leaving the town, and the kid has like grown a foot and his voice has like dropped a decibel in like the span of like what's been half an hour in the show's continuity, but was like. And then like a few years later, like some woman was like threatening the family, and then like the kid like goes up behind her and hits her with like a golf club or something.
oh,
or
I love that kid. He's the best one.
Yeah, and then like he's like, "What? I couldn't find anything else." And then like the series premiere, which takes place like 3 seconds later, when he's like, "What? I couldn't find anyone else." Okay, Mom. Now we have to get rid of the body. Like
That reminded me. I also think that like I don't know when they originally took a break, but like I feel that like Davi Mazouz has aged even further in this episode.
He's a growing young man.
He is, and I'm not holding anything against him, but like I feel that like was he this tall and this lanky last episode or the episode or the few episodes?
I just need Don to like see him in person again and just be like, oh god.
Again, I remember when I first met him, he was such a little. I remember feeling that I intimidated him because like when I asked him a question, I was staring in his little eyes, and I was like, I need to stop. He's only 12 years old, and now he's probably taller than I am.
Oh, yeah, he'll be staring you down. He's like, I remember you.
As he chokes the life out of me.
Well, New York Comic Con was like, because every time we interview him, I always felt like he was kind of like nervous because at least with acting, there's like a script in practice. With like these interviews, I guess you can mess up or like you're being watched and like everyone's like looking at you expecting it's more intimidating. So he always felt very shy and unsure of himself, at least from my perspective. But then like New York Comic Con this year was like the first time I interviewed him where I felt like he was like, whatever, I got this, you guys. Like he had that, and I'm not insulting him when I say this, but like teenage cockiness. Like, you know, he was very sure of himself and very like unshy and like, and even on Twitter he does, you know, he's awesome on Twitter. This girl's like, I want a hug from Davima's house, and then Davi's like, yeah, I wanted one too, so I hugged myself. Dab. Were you bothered by her and Bruce? The whole like her kissing him thing? Because I remember that was an issue.
Actually, this context, no, because she wasn't kissing him for pleasure. She was just kissing him to administer the poison.
Yeah, I never felt like anything was overtly sexual, and when she scratched him, I was like, oh man, like obviously he's not going to die because this is season 4 of the show, but and he still has to become Batman. But I was like, man, how's he going to get out of this? Because
I was trying to figure out. Nobody knows where he is because he's blocked everyone out of his life. How are they going to get to him? And then they got to Ivy, and Ivy's like, yeah, he might still have time. And I was like, oh, there we go.
Because she did say, I'm going to make this more painful for you. I'm going to, like, this is going to be slower and more painful than the other people. And at
that point, I thought she just meant, like, the death that was coming.
Yeah.
Because when she scratched other people, she did it really deep and, like, a really big-ass gash. So it went faster.
Yeah, that's one thing about like drama with TV shows is to make the stakes high. Like when they do something like that, like in the first Star Wars movie, you see the Death Star blow up Alderaan, so that way, like you're worried. Like you're worried when you see it approach that other planet. And then in Guardians of the Galaxy, for example, like you see what happens when you touch the stone and like how you will die. Like they set that up. So like. We've had 2 episodes of setting up that, like, yeah, when Ivy touches you, that's a death sentence. So, you know, yeah, we knew Bruce was going to come out okay because he's Bruce. But yeah, like you said, like, man, he has no way to get to an antidote. Like, nobody's like there. So he's kind of screwed because I was wondering, like, is he just going to fight it by sheer like force of will? And I was just thinking how horrifying that would have been for like Gordon, Lucius, and Alfred, even though Alfred wasn't in the episode, to like walk in and find Bruce as a tree.
Yeah, no, I was just waiting to figure out who was going to find him, because I was like, is Alfred going to come back and go get Gordon and figure out what happened, or run into Lucius and figure out what happened, or what's going to happen? Well,
I wonder if it was even Davi Mazouz, because if you notice, they kind of had a reverse shot filming of it, and you don't really see his face when because honestly, like he's still underage and she's like 30. So
dude, kissing somebody for a movie is not illegal.
I know that, but like the way that they shot it, though. I mean, in First Kid, you see, the grown woman kissing the boy, but like in this, the way they shot it, the thought crossed my head whether it was a different actor.
Reminds me of like season 1, when like Montoya and Barbara kissed, and like the camera like went like 6 miles away.
Well, I mean, I kind of liked how Poison Ivy is one of my favorite villains when she is a villain. It's fine if she's a good guy, but I kind of want there to be a damn reason why she is. But like, I like her because she can be an incredibly cruel, kind of like just mistress of death. And which
like mistresses.
When she's like, oh, it's gonna be slow and painful. That to me is a character, quite honestly. Like when she's being just like an evil, such and such. that's the character. I don't need her to, she can do whatever she wants to, but as long as she can do it with a lot of malice, because she's supposed to be sort of a misanthrope. Then even with somebody that she already knows, like Bruce Wayne, I thought that was pretty cool. And again, in the face of a lot of baggage that the character in this series has, I think Peyton List, she's been kind of crushing it with what they've been giving her. I think that she's been doing a really good job. And it was kind of cool seeing Selina have her line quickly drawn, like you killed that guy in front of his family, and having her remember, it's implicit that she remembers the Waynes dying in front of Bruce, so she instantly cuts ties with Ivy, which I thought was really good characterization.
Selina's always been uncomfortable around murder. Like I've noticed that. Like even
except for the time she
Oh yeah, she did push a guy out a window once.
Yeah, and then the time there she was all like, "So are we gonna kill these guys or what?" With Fish. So.
But then I think when like someone died, I remember the look on her face got really uncomfortable when Maroni got shot.
I think that's because it was Maroni, not because someone died.
I don't know. I think it is a little consistent.
That was like a person of power getting taken out in front of her.
I think it's a little bit of both, and I think that like there are times where she appears like she's in over her head, and she's like, "I'm getting out of here."
Because like Selina Kyle in the comics is more of an anti-hero and sometimes a hero. Like they've been careful like not to make her too murdery. So I noticed that like when something happens, like the whole Martine thing, she was like, you could tell she was uncomfortable around that, and then she's like, he blew up that kid sky high. They at least kind of show that like she's not as willing to kill people as like Barbara and Tabitha might be.
Yeah, but I also feel like that could have been because it was a child.
Well, I'm just using other examples too. Like,
I don't think there's a hard and fast rule about it.
I can think of a reason for everything.
The show's made it a point to like not put Selina to the point of no return, because they explicitly had that line in there where I was like, my friend thinks I'm just going to rob you, but here's this. Like that line was there so that the audience doesn't get mad at Selina for like being a part of murder, because if she's going to be kissing on Bruce, like she has to still have some, redeeming qualities.
Well, and she's never been like if you to compare to Poison Ivy, she's never been. I mean, even I think the darkest Catwoman's ever been was probably Batman Returns, and even then, I thought you were just going to scare the Ice Princess. Well, she looks very scared. Like Catwoman is not a cold-blooded killer in any incarnation.
I think there's like some Brave and the Bold comic from the 70s where she might have killed someone, but like those were like deemed out of continuity because Catwoman in the comics, like she hasn't been like I'm going to kill you criminal since like the 70s. Like, because once it got to the 70s, that's when Selina Kyle became Bruce Wayne's girlfriend for a period of time in the comics. And then like there'd be this thing where he's like, oh, don't become Catwoman again and be a criminal. And then she was his ally sometimes, but then other times. And then there was that stupid story in the 80s where Joker like zaps her with a thing and she becomes like a criminal again. But she wasn't like I'm going to blow up the world criminal. She's like, I'm going to rob a bank and steal jewelry criminal. She wasn't like, she wasn't tying Batman up to like giant rockets to send him into space. Like, it wasn't the 60s show. So like the 70s was the last time that Selina became like a violent, like through and through criminal.
The 60s show, she was pretty evil. Like she was always trying to like suggesting that Robin get killed off. Like she was a super villain then.
What I'm saying is, once we get to the 70s, like there kind of hasn't been like it's kind of been the no turning back for Selina, like in terms of being an anti-hero. Like she's never reached that level of villainy again that she had in the 60s, and goodfully so, because we have enough of those type of villains, and I think that the characters only gotten better, in the decade since, and it'll be interesting to see what happens in the Tom King comic, because like Bruce Wayne can't marry someone that's like stealing jewels, and like just buy her jewels, man. You're Bruce Wayne.
But it's not about possessing them. It's about the thrill of the heist that she feeds off of. That's what thieves go off of.
It depends on which version. There are times she's a kleptomaniac.
Yeah. In any case, I did like the scenes of I loved her and Gordon's team up this episode where it's like, a woman with a whip. and leather. It must be Selena Kyle, and like because no one else can have those things in Gotham City.
Certainly
Like
not
Tabitha.
Yeah, like he's not like, so it must be Tabitha Gelman.
Well, they also said like there was a redhead and a brunette, and am I dumb or is Cameron Binkendova not a brunette? I always kind of saw her as more of kind of a sandy blonde, but you're the hair
She had
expert.
brown hair in this episode.
Yeah, she
did have brown hair in this episode.
I'd call her brunette, probably.
I thought a brunette meant like black hair.
Brown.
No, she's black hair.
She doesn't have black hair, but like that's what I thought that meant.
No. Like black hair is just black hair. Brunette is brown hair, like just dark hair in general. Actually.
I mean, his hunch was right, but like, wow, like really, that's like not enough to go by to say it must be Selena Kyle. Like she's the only one in the city with the whip, but
with the redhead. I think the redhead is what rounded it out.
I do love like him going to the Sirens Club and then like he sees Selena and she like immediately Zoidbergs away, whoop 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 whoop, and then like Barbara's like doing business in the background. Oh hey Jim, I saw Selena. She went that way
with this like piece of meat with his open jacket. Like he's clearly there, for her like afternoon sex or something.
JCVD.
My God, I've killed her. Damn it.
Barbara, did you see the son of a bitch that did this?
Like, oh God, she's dead. What happened? Oh my God.
You mean like last episode?
Yes, exactly. He shot the guy and then was all like, damn it. I'm like,
how could this have happened?
Are you kidding me?
Their interaction was fun this episode though, because these two have been like kind of doing this cat and mouse, no pun intended, game since like right after the pilot. Like, because I remember when she took him to Crime Alley and like she got out of the handcuffs and didn't she like lock him in the sewer or something like that? I don't remember.
In the sewer.
I remember she like did something to get the upper hand on him, and then like he found her in Barbara Keene's apartment when he went to return the keys back when she was squatting there, and so these two have always said. I know Don liked the interaction between them in the medical examiner's office with like Harper, where it was like, "You did a really good job. You did a really bad job of selling it. Oh, and you think you did?
Get 'em, boys! Zoinks!
Options, run."
I love that scene. It was been, well when Selena was like, oh yeah, I was the best. You see Ben McKenzie's acting, and he's like, physically like going, goading her on, like yeah. He's like shaking his head, and like his eyebrows are doing jumping jacks, and it's hilarious.
He was having fun. I'm sure everybody was having fun with this episode. That's what it looked like. Everyone but David.
I think he had fun being like Dream Bruce. Like,
maybe
I think
Robert
he
Lord Taylor had a hard time with it.
Yeah. Except for when he did that weird mime thing.
He kind of did get his ass kicked.
that was funny, and actually we could talk about that now if we're done with like the Bruce, plot line and stuff like that. Yeah, as we said in the recap, this was basically like high school. One line that kind of puzzled me was he's like, "If I get out of here, like Sophia Falcone is holding someone very important to me captive," and it's like, wait, so like, did Zaz?
Yeah.
I guess like say, by the way, Martine's alive and he's over here, and like they kidnapped him off screen, or is like,
well, he does know that like if he reveals that Martine's alive, then he's in danger, because they can always like capture her again, or capture him.
But Zaz turned though.
Yeah, he did.
And Zaz knows that Martine's alive. So if you're Penguin, you assume that anything that Zaz knows, Sophia knows. Ergo, Sophia knows that Martine's alive.
Because Falcone.
You mean like because Falcone, like that's why Zaz turned, or?
Yeah, because she's a Falcone.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
Yeah, that took me by surprise too, but now that you've explained it, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
It's just, I feel like there's an extra step missing. Like, I figured that, like, Martine's, like, on, like, a farm somewhere, or whatever, and, like, they've just left him
with
alone.
With Mom,
like,
Pa Kent.
Yeah. Martine, you have gifts, and you're not going to use them to play football.
What am I supposed to do? Just let him die? Probably.
He writes on his little notepad, "Yes, you're a 9-year-old boy that can't talk. What the heck are you supposed to do? You don't have powers."
Wow. Why are they writing on his notepad? That's like the last straw.
So, like, did they find Martine and just, like, re-kidnap him, or they just, like, know where he is?
There's no way of knowing right now.
I kind of feel like maybe what could have happened is they just know where he is and they're holding him hostage, as in they don't actually have to retrieve him, but they know where he is.
They said the word captive. Let me see who wrote this episode. Because, like, I'm wondering if it's just a case where, like, whoever wrote it didn't,
See the last 2 episodes.
Well, not see, but, like, sometimes episodes are, like, being written at the same time.
Well, how do we know
and,
that
like, the
Penguin
writer
just didn't tell that to Jerome Joker, really? Just to save time. I mean,
like, he throws on a Joker.
I know, and then he says, "Oh, he's not the Joker, you guys." I was like, "Blow me!" But like, I don't know if there's this big mystery, because it was just like, like he was just kind of explaining, I'm in a situation where someone I care about is in danger. Like, I don't know if there's whole, like, a missing Zaz mystery backstory that we need to decipher based on that slip of the tongue.
Yeah,
I feel like it's fine because of the way that you explain it made sense. Whether it's because, like you said, Zaz already knows. I mean, it doesn't have to be explained in this one. It could be explained in the next one. It's a TV series. There's more than one episode.
Well, and Penguin could have just been guessing, or like you said, he could have just been saying that to Jerome to, like, try and, like, oh, I can get out of here if I want. I just can't. And I mean, we already know for sure that, like, Martine's coming back, and he's going to be in a few episodes, according to, like, some sources. So all answers. Apparently, Robin Lord Taylor did an interview today where, like, it said that, like, Penguin and Martine won't be reuniting, and, like, that girl who I know on Twitter was, like, really sad. But then she's like, wait, maybe he's lying. But, like, he's definitely coming back to the show.
Maybe he's lying.
Look, there were a lot of lies that flew around. They're not going to butt heads this season.
Well, yeah.
He literally
that was
punched
a lie
him in the
as
face.
much as, like,
I mean,
wishful thinking. I'm looking through these opening credits, and I'm still looking for the name of the writer, because, like, season 1 was one of the worst examples where, like, the writers were clearly, like, not in communication with each other, where, like, you have 3 episodes in a row of Bullock finding out that Lee and Gordon are dating, or, like, 2 episodes in a row.
The cool thing is, though, all 3 of those writers wrote him the exact same way.
Yeah, I do think it's a little much to kind of just like make sure that the writers. I think it's just a line of dialogue. I don't think that there was, we must see if the writer, this is his first day on the job. Like, I don't think it's that big. I don't think it's a big deal.
I just went through the whole credits, and it's here we go. Written by Tzi Chun. I did enjoy the end where, like, Oswald finally got into it with Jerome, and they did that whole, like, mind fight. I was like, okay, this is fun.
What do we think about Jerome in this episode?
I liked him. I liked that he was like I felt like he was a nice amalgam of Heath Ledger and TAS Joker.
Yeah, there's definitely little more than a little Heath Ledger going on there, yeah.
Yeah, but there was a lot of TAS going in there too, with, like, a lot of the pageantry, like the performance.
Yes. Yeah, the performance.
It's just like, oh, you're killing it. You're killing it. I like this. I enjoyed him.
He's great.
Like he's really evolving into his own. Like, he was his own in the beginning, but, like, I feel like he's really, like, evolving into something more solid, like a more solid presence. I don't know if that makes sense.
I don't know what it is with the writers, and maybe Josh's, frantic, writer search can elucidate this, but, like,
you used that word twice tonight. Does that mean clarify?
Yeah, clarify. That's exactly what it means. To make known. But
using the words.
I don't. And I've said it before. I don't know what it is, but, like, I don't know if it's. I do think that, like, it's partly Cameron Monaghan's performance and the writers, but whenever he's on screen, he just works perfectly. He's the most successful character on this show because he's never done, to my mind, he's never done anything stupid. He's never done anything outrageously out of character, to my mind. He's never done anything, like, contrived or whatever. I feel that, like, if this idea of the Joker is personified by this character, it works. Everything he says is before, even when, like, there was that sort of decoy when it wasn't Penguin, under the little hood thing, he didn't react like why. He reacted very Joker, like he's like, he kind of knows it isn't him, but, like, he kind of just fake reacts. He's like, Derek or whatever. Like, it's such
yes.
It's such a perfect performance. And
then he steps out of the pee.
He leaps out of it. Like, I just, it's so weird that he's on this show where they kind of go back and forth with a lot of characters, but like I feel that like he's. I mean, I really am wondering, like, how does he rank in my top 5 Jokers? Like, seriously. Like if you compare Nicholson, Cesar Romero, Heath Ledger, Mark Hamill.
I would say he's above Nicholson for me.
They're still saying that he's not the Joker, and like apparently.
Who are they fooling? He had a Joker card, for God's sake. He's laughing.
Yeah,
he has a clown face. His face is cut off. Who are
Mark
they
Hamill apparently like said on Twitter like I'm really loving your performance as the Joker, and like Cameron's like thanks so much, and like. People like see Gotham writers. Even Mark Hamill likes him. Will you make him the Joker now?
But look at him. He has the Nicholson / Ledger, kind of like Glasgow smile.
He has the Glasgow smile. He did the entire death of the family thing with his face, where they cut it off and pass it around. They literally passed it around.
He's like make me laugh. He does the whole.
Yeah.
I'm going to make my crimes more performative, like Jen mentioned. I mean, come on. I mean, they had us going with like the comedian, the pilot, and the Red Hood gang, but now it's like, if he isn't the Joker, then you guys aren't trying as hard because like you gave us a Joker and then said it wasn't him. I mean, this is the opposite of Henry James Olsen from the Smallville.
Supposedly,
Henry James
said
Joker.
that like we're going to be seeing the beginnings of the Joker this season, and it's like one of the most brilliant things ever. And then like. There was another thing too where like they said that like Jerome would be playing or Cameron would be playing 2 different characters, so maybe someone else Cameron plays I don't know. But then the other side of that too is like David also said that like one article brought this up. They said yes, David said this, but David also said we were getting Harley Quinn in the season finale last year. So like,
yeah,
take that.
David knows what he's doing. I respect that man.
Yes, man.
He's all like, these guys will believe anything that I say.
Yeah.
He is a very young man. A very adorable young. My mom is like, I don't like his face. But that Gordon man is very handsome.
Why, thank you.
I'm like, no, Mom. No.
You should watch the episode of The Office where like David's like even more little than he like was in the pilot, and he's dressed as a zombie, and his dad is Ultron.
He still
from
has
the Avengers
the same
movies.
deadpan, grim face that he has in the show.
He was playing computer games with Dwight or Jim or something. I'm trying to remember, but like the thing was like he liked scary stuff, and his dad like did this like really scary story at the end that like scared everyone in the office, and there's like silence, and then the camera pans to David, and he like is laughing hysterically like he's Jerome.
Sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so...
And then there's the Nigmogglepot. I always pronounce it wrong. Nigmogglepot?
It's not a word.
Nigmogglepot. You had it right the first time.
Yeah.
Nigmogglepot.
Yeah, which they're really going with this idea that like the Riddler and Ed are 2 different people, like, which I know they've been doing with the whole mirror thing, but like I always figured they were like the same guy, but like now it's like, oh, you're in there somewhere, Riddler, and I'll get you out.
It's James Robinson's Two-Face, which is annoying.
I really felt like it was more like Fight Club.
I guess, yeah, like the Riddler's.
Like
I fight like you do. You want to. I want to. I'm everything you aren't.
Yeah. Thanks, Brad Pitt. I will take
you're
the
me,
guy.
and this is a gun.
It's a good performance from Corey Michael Smith, and it's even kind of clever that like the real Riddler subconsciously leaves riddles, speaking about his his feeling trapped. I thought that was actually kind of clever. But yeah, like the Riddler, again, for the umpteenth time, I said this 3 years ago. The Riddler's not a split personality, but no one's listening, so.
I actually kind of think it's fun and it's interesting the way that they do it.
Okay.
Because he was 2 people to begin with, and then he synergized into 1, and then he got effed up, so he split again, and he can be whatever he wants to be, but he's got that extra personality in there that is also him. So it was like really cool because it's just like the whole what did I say? Kringle murder again, where he's leaving the clues for himself.
Yeah.
I think it's just his path to like becoming one person again.
Well, and why do you think he's reaching out to Oswald? Because like Oswald can bring out the inner Riddler, or
because he loves him.
Oh God, Don, not you too. We've lost him. We've lost him.
Oh, I
Don.
always shipped Enigma will
Yeah,
pop.
but
That's not new.
I ship them too because like
It's fresh and exciting and unpredictable.
I have a friend who watched the first season with me, and then like he dropped it because like he was only watching it when he was with me. So like, and he and I were talking about everything that we missed with the show the last year because he was talking about it with me the other day, and he hadn't seen it since season 1. And I mentioned the whole Nigmogglepot thing, and I was like, he's like, wait, so Penguin's gay? I'm like, well, it's not really a gay thing as much as it is like like he's in
A
love with
human
him
being
thing.
love thing.
Yeah,
I feel like he is what you would call a demisexual, and that means you need an emotional connection with somebody to find them attractive.
Right, because there was that whole. I mean, he was kind of having feelings for Sophia Falcone too, but
yeah, because he had an emotional connection with her, so therefore he started finding her attractive.
Oh yeah,
but I dare the show though to actually make them a couple because I think that would be a really really gutsy thing to do. To be honest, but then
I feel like there was always that kind of like astronaut's leap with him confessing that he loved Penguin or Riddler in the first place, but to commit to that and actually have them have a season of being together would be wild.
But then like there's still the whole he killed Isabella thing, so
yeah,
it's.
But you
it'd
also
be really really hard to forgive that. But like everyone keeps on saying, "Oh, it's Gotham," because when I interviewed Robin. My interview with Robin Lord Taylor is up on TBU today, and then I was like, what about all those bridges that you burned? And Robin Lord Taylor says, it's Gotham. Everyone forgives everyone. I'm like, yeah, that's true. Like Tabitha killed Babs like last year, and they're the best of friends now. Like, oh, it's just like that thing with George and the Ayatollah.
I mean, Gordon and
they're the best of friends.
Gordon said last episode, "Good job, Ed." He didn't say, "You son of a bitch, you sent me to prison."
Yeah, you sent me to prison and ruined my life, like causing my fiance to be alone when the baby was miscarried, and everybody.
Technically, that was his decision because he wouldn't see her either.
That was another
blame that
case
fully
of,
on Ed.
That was another case of writers just not communicating with each other because he's like, "Never come back, Lee. Never see me again. Don't call me. Don't write me." The next episode, he's like, "Bullock, what happened to Lee? She hasn't written me a letter in forever. That son of a bitch."
Son of a bitch.
Jim, you dumped her. That doesn't sound like something I would do.
It was 2 days ago.
Pretty much.
I was in the lobby when you did it. She just left a second ago.
He has mad schizophrenia.
Apparently.
Everybody on the show does.
Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts on the prison subplot, Jerome?
It's definitely the plot
of the villains.
It's definitely the plot that I won't say I didn't like it, to be honest, because I love seeing Jerome. I really really do. He is just. I mean, when this podcast ends and we kind of have some sort of retrospective episode, Jerome might be my favorite character, and it's not because I'm a Joker fanboy or whatever, but he's just that good. And I think that
Cameron is.
And I think that
Cameron's good.
And I think that Robert Lord Taylor's performance in this was really good too. Like especially when he was kind of talking to himself. I think it was good. I just think that that the other plots were more engaging. And it's probably because of the camp factor of the Ivy thing, and Bruce, touring down Bible Man Alley and stuff. But I think that overall it was a entertaining episode. That plot line is not bad, but I think I just happen to prefer the other ones.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad plot. It didn't really move the plot along too much, aside from Jerome, the Riddler thing, maybe a little bit. But it was enjoyable, and I did love the end where Penguin finally is all right, I'm gonna join in this and do the whole mime thing, and then Jerome goes along with it, I can't get in this prison, and he's like, oh, you gave me what I wanted, a good laugh. Every episode doesn't have to be this groundbreaking status quo changing thing. We can just have fun.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it as much as you did. I didn't like that storyline as much as you did. I mean, I enjoy watching Jerome, but I was just like I said, I got to that part and I was like, what the hell am I watching?
So that was A Beautiful Darkness. Next week's episode is called Reunion. And Ivy, guest star Peyton List, picks her next target, leading Gordon and Lucius back to an old friend, as Selina tries to take matters into her own hands. Sophia wants full control of Gotham and turns to Lee about the state of the Narrows. Oh yeah, that's what we saw. Meanwhile, Bruce tries to make amends with Alfred, and Enigma visits Arkham. Didn't he just do that? Oh, I guess he's going back in the all-new. So the guest cast is Peyton List as Ivy Pepper, J.W. Cortez as Alvarez,
Woot woot.
Stu, quote-unquote, Large Riley as Samson, which was that guy that Lee poisoned a few weeks ago. Well, a few months ago, really, at this point. It's that guy, which Marina Baccarin mentioned him in our interview. She said that she really liked working with him. Apparently, like, and so did Corey Michael Smith. They said that he's like a fun actor to work with. So, I guess that'll figure into the whole like sisters-in-law Narrows thing and the whole, which we didn't talk too much about, but like Sophia blackmailing like Gordon, this week. Like, fine, I can find other ways to get back at you.
Yes, and then they pan out with Lee. Lay!
So, any thoughts on next week?
No. I'm sure it'll be fun. A lot of these episodes have been doing a three episode, or a lot of these seasons, or this show lately in the past couple of seasons have been doing a lot of 3-episode arcs. I think this season the race arc was like 4 episodes, but like maybe this, maybe by the end of this, Ivy will either go to Arkham or be killed or something.
I'm enjoying the villains this season, like more so than I have the last few years, because I'm thinking, yeah, like Sophia was a very interesting villain. I'm liking the new Ivy and Raish, so it's
the pig.
Yeah, I've been liking all of that because, like, even when I liked some of the actors of the villains last season, like, I would still think that other stuff was ridiculous. Like, I never liked the Galavan.
Headhunter.
I liked the Galavan episodes, but I thought his plot was really stupid.
Hunter.
Say what?
I didn't mind Headhunter.
He's coming back, but like the main villains though, like
Mad Hatter pissed me off.
Yes,
Oh, God,
yeah, Mad
Mad
Hatter
Hatter.
last year. Like story-wise, this is one of my favorite seasons so far.
Agreed.
It was announced and I told Don this over the phone earlier today. It was announced that the season finale, which like they're doing the table read for like as we speak, is going to be called No Man's Land. So
apparently they still don't know whether they're going to be renewed or not. Like I saw them tweet, crossing fingers for season 5. So if No Man's Land ends with how the comics did, and Sarah Essen is brought back to life only to be killed again, then
hi Jerome. You have a little boy too, don't you? What? No, I don't.
They still haven't mentioned what happened to Alan and Montoya. And the only reason I bring that up is because they said they were gone in this season.
Oh, snap.
I mean, and that was one of the big police stories too, like No Man's Land, where because the cops were in different factions. There was
It basically justified Gotham Central as a series because Brubaker and Rucka were doing a lot of those No Man's Land comics, and in those comics they explicitly focus on the cops. It wasn't just Batman and family. It was like there was that whole thing with Montoya and Two-Face that led into Gotham Central. They were the ones who Like we saw the Batman family look up to the Joker, but also the GCPD went nuts for the Joker. That was very much not intentionally, but sort of a backdoor pilot for Gotham Central. And I think that legitimately Gotham Central was pitched earlier than it came out, and No Man's Land was sort of a justification for it. You can do a comic series based on these characters.
Sweet. So I have to read No Man's Land and Gotham Central
and Year One.
And Batman Year One.
They're all cop stories.
Here's the thing, though. I literally took the trade paperback to work, and I was like, okay, when it's downtime, I'm going to sit here, and I'm going to read Batman Year One. I'm going to do it. I'm going to sit here and play Wordscape on my phone for 30 minutes before the plane comes in instead.
Just don't read Gordon in Josh's voice.
Too late.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's either that or I have to picture what's his face.
Mm-hmm. And
Bryan Cranston.
The countdown to episode 200 is 200. Wow, yeah, whoa, not yet. The countdown for episode 100 of the podcast is coming. So, what are your thoughts? What are your ideas, audience? We certainly have some. Wahahaha. So, let us know in the comments section, because I don't like it when other podcasts like say, don't forget to subscribe to us or do that. I'm like, like, we're already listening to you. Stop advertising yourself when we're already listening to you. But that being said, we haven't gotten any I know that you guys are listening by the download numbers, but we haven't gotten any comments on the website for a while or any iTunes reviews, so feel free to leave some of those and we'll read it, even the ones that hate us, as you know from last year when Don and I read the ones that hated us. And let us know your thoughts for what we should do for episode 100. Until next time, this is Josh.
This is Don.
And this is Homeless Jan.
And you've been listening to the Homeless Gotham Chronicle podcast.
Ivy's the coolest.
In the dark of the night, terror will strike her.
Terror's the least of her worries.
In the dark of the night, evil will rule.
Soon she'll feel that her nightmares are real.
In the dark of the night,
She'll be mine.
in the dark of the night, evil will find her. In the dark of the night, terror comes through.
My dear, here's the sign. It's the end of the line.
Like we're the homeless guy.
Why does Selena sound like Shaggy?
That's what made me think of it.
This week Casey Kasem will be, replacing Karen Beacon Dova, from Beyond the Grave.
From the dead. Selena Kyle. You're fired.
You're fired. And Bruce Wayne, why you dressed up like Bible Man? Bible Man! Bible Man!
Bruce Wayne had it all. Money, fame, success.
A bunch of watches.
Because he is Bible Man, you idiot.
What? Matt Shrek. John 3:16 says. No regrets.
No recruits.
I'm glad that we're putting some good material for the blooper section here.
Oh my god. Oh,
This is good for the
true
main.
facts.
He says in the chat, Mom needs something real quick. Ooh.
That's gross in that context, Josh. Stop.
What? No, not like that. I
You
was
said,
like,
ooh. That's not like.
yeah, but not.
Ooh, it's a different type of ooh. You gotta get your ooh
it's
straight.
like the whole will Donovan come to the principal's office thing and everyone in the class goes ooh, like what?
No,
like,
they go
you're in trouble.
ooh. It's a different type of ooh. Ooh,
Donovan's
it's like a
gone,
romantic connotation.
we will debate upon the enunciations of oohs. I love it.
I will fight you till the end.
You probably will, and you'll probably win because you're Jan and I'm Josh. So.
I like the way you think.
Yeah. Okay, so some guy named C. Chung wrote the script for this episode, so let me see who wrote the last few episodes.
Donovan.
Yeah, you can see my face right now.
I'm with you right now.
Oh, how do I pronounce the name? TZE? Like, you tell me.
She's Korean, not Chinese.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Thank you, Don. Thank you.
I don't know. You guys tell me.
No, we're just sitting here because we don't.
Give a
Not to
damn.
sound rude, we don't care. We don't care who wrote this. We've already moved on mentally, and you're still on this. We have other things, more important things to talk about.
All right. Fair enough. I'll regret this when I'm editing, I'm sure. So, like when I ended the last episode, I was like, wow, we spent 20 minutes talking about the meaning of the word sir for butlers. I was
Master.